Great to have you in London
Lovely to be here. One of my favorite cities, if not the one.
and to have a chance to talk through some of the things that have been coming at us as we've been doing the work here locally. And some of the questions that come a lot are things like, well, I get GTD. I love the idea of it, but that's going to take a lot of discipline.
You know, I don't like the word discipline. It sounds hard, hard work. And none of the behaviors or none of the best practices are actually hard to do. It's not like some new technology or foreign language to learn. Write things down, that's not hard. Decide what's the next action on something before it blows up, that's not hard. Make a list, that's not hard. Look at a list, that's not hard. So none of these behaviors are really hard to do. I know what you're talking about. It's like, well, how do I build a habit of the consistent methodology and applications? And that can feel sort of unnatural and awkward and unnecessary. So very much like learning the martial arts. Martial art moves feel very awkward and strange and unnatural until you do them about 100 and 200 and 300 times and you start to realize, wow, that's the way to develop a lot of power. So it is kind of paradoxical with these best practices of GTD that they're much like learning a martial arts move. They feel awkward and unnatural to begin with until you start to see the power of that being applied over a consistent basis. But I understand it's not something we seem to be born doing. Keep everything out of your head. Decide what the next action is and what are all the things that are more than one step that you need to do. And keep those out on some list and keep that current and keep it reviewed. Sounds good, but that is a pretty big change of behavior for sure.
It's a huge behavior change, and the thing that I always dislike about discipline is as soon as I tell myself I have to discipline myself, I'm immediately putting myself into opposition with some part of myself. I have to do this thing. And I've never found over time that I win that one. My subconscious, which really just wants to eat ice cream all day, wins every time. So the discipline piece for me around GTD has never been I have to process or I have to do a weekly review. It's been about like what's the end point here? And the first time I read the book, the thing that I got was there is this possibility called mind like water. And I just fell in love with that. That as a possibility was what's got me through, daily processing, weekly reviews for years because the goal was so attractive.
Yeah, and I like the word direction instead of discipline. It's really not like hard work to look at the email and say, hey, I want to get to the bottom of my in basket as opposed to let me go eat ice cream. It's just which way are you pointing yourself? As I say, I can resist anything but temptation. So the whole idea is put the right thing in front of me, have the right focus for it, and not hard to do. And you're right, creating the win of, wow, an empty in basket. Wow, isn't that really cool? So you do need a carrot at the end of this, but I think the key is developing what Charles Duhigg in his book, The Power of Habit, called the keystone habit. Let's not go change 28 habits. That's hard work. As a matter of fact, I don't like to have to think about all the decisions I'm going to have to make about every email that's showing up in there. But I built the habit of loving to see an in-basket empty. So just to get my in-basket empty, I will then put myself through the rigor of making decisions that I need to make. But if I said I'm going to have to go decide about everything I have my attention on, it's like, oh, that's hard work. No. But give me an empty in-basket, absolutely.